Hope you guys are enjoying the visual novel so far. It gets a bit darker going further on, but I don't think in this episode, so here's what happened on the previous episode. She makes some weird noises, but doesn't try to resist as I play with her face. Girl, I would slap the shit out of you. Why is this window barred and these aren't? He gives a thumbs up. Atmosphere. I can read it. You'd be the only one. Forget what I said about Rowena. We're not cool kids at all. We're pretty lame, actually. With an inquiring tilt of her head, Rowena listens on as the result of us? This is what happens when your brain moves ahead of your eyes. The rest of us break out into laughter. Aha! She probably didn't fully understand what was going on, but she smiles warmly at the good cheer we surround her with. You people are crazy. Ha ha ha. Meals really are the best when shared in the company of others. I mean, I wouldn't say that. Because sometimes you got the people that like chew their food with their mouth open. It's like, oh my god. It will make you choke on it. Oh? Hasn't lunch break been over for a while now? Yes, but it appears that Mr. Nero has more pressing obligations to attend to. Our ever-dedicated school teacher was currently in the process of revising today's lessons plans with his face drool. Ew. He fell asleep again? How many times must he be punished before he learns his lesson? With a grin that proves he's up to no good, Trish taps on Kelly's shoulder and gestures shadily at Mr. Nero's defenseless figure. Comprehending his intentions with ease, Kelly snickers impishly. Hey, Rowena, would you turn a blind eye if we decide to play a prank on your dad? Is that some kind of joke? Is that some kind of blind joke? Gaffs. Guffaws? I suppose it can't be helped. Just don't let things get too out of hand. Don't, like, break his bones or anything. What's that even mean? Don't let things get too out of hand? Oh, is that a joke for Kalia? Because she's got no arms? She doesn't have any hands? These people. So mean. Gaps everywhere. Alright, good. So Rowena's in. What should we do now, though? The Lyrit's repertoire of pranks was quite expansive, but their usual antics wouldn't cut it if they wanted to do something Rowena could appreciate. She can't even see. Scanning the room for ideas, my eyes catch on Nolita as she plays around with Susie. A younger class. Why not just use a Z instead of a C? Suki? Susi. That's... sing. The little one was teasing Nolita in a saccharine... God, these words! These words! I want someone to do a voiceover of this game. I want to see if they get every single one of these words right. Guarantee they won't. Guarantee. They can't do it in Japanese either. It has to be in English. As she floated a balloon in and out of her reach. The scales have fallen from my eyes. We'll give him helium voice. With a grand gesture, I direct everyone's attention to the enlightening scene before us. Where'd that cat come from? There was no mention of a cat. In the highest form of approval, Triss spontaneously produces a white cat from somewhere and begins stroking it like an evil mastermind. He produces it from somewhere. Not even the creators of the game knew where the cat came from. I'm really feeling it. Firing off a clawful pun, Ellie and Triss set out to procure the balloon. Father with helium voice. I cannot say the prospect is without appeal. You shouldn't do bad things to people who are sleeping. You should shut up. Remember last time when you tied my sleeves together when I was sleeping? That was so mean. T-Rex Larona is best Larona. Likely due to her overloaded schedule, Larona had the habit of switching off whenever she was rendered even remotely cozy. Naturally, that put her on the receiving end of countless pranks on our part. But, it's also really bad to fall asleep in class as a teacher. Oh, I don't know. I can't stop imagining Mr. Nero speaking like a cute little mouse. With our morale compass compromised by internal conflict, there's nothing left to stand in the way of her schemes. Upon successfully persuading the owner, the Lyrit twins return with Nolita and Balloon in tow. Alright, so who'll be the lucky soul carrying this out? Triss is good at being quiet. As if he'd been shot through the heart, Triss slumps to the ground, cat scampering from hand. This isn't even gaff territory anymore. This is just plain harassment. Triss is KIA. I'm not suitable for the job because of reasons. Killed in action? Huh? Is that what that means? Because he like fell over? And Nolita and Larona. Or Nolita and Larona. That makes sense. Therefore, I nominate Aid to bear the torch. I will seize the scepter of victory. Roused by Callia's flawless reasoning, I brandish the balloon with steeled resolve. If what you need to do entails ensuring that Father stays asleep, I can also be of service. I think this game stopped making sense a while ago. He has a peculiar habit of sleeping deeply when his head is scratched a certain way. How would you know that? Like, Rena. You know what? Don't tell me the answer to that. With uncanny composure, Rowena discloses shocking intel to us. Oh, he's like a kitty cat! It's decided then. Let Operation Felium begin. With a grand sweeping motion, I announce the commencement of our mission. I'll be counting on you to disable the dragon while I sneak into his lair to loot the gold, Rowena. Today is the first time that we've involved Rowena in one of our missions. As such, no matter how fraught with peril this undertaking may be, failure cannot be allowed. Mission start. Ducking into the shadows of one of the first row desks, I stand by as Rowena moves into position. With the wisdom of a weathered sage, she works her magic, chanting forbidden verses from a world beyond our own. Meow, meow, neon. Oh, it sounds like a cat to me. These verses, of course, had a mild resemblance to the mewing of a kitten, but I digress. The slumbering dragon's dangling glob of drool expands in size as the great sorcery takes effect. 10 out of 10 would listen to Wowcat again. Oh, you made a rhyme! When Arena signals in my general direction, I rapidly commence my infiltration. Posturing myself next to the throne, I look back to see that all our comrades are watching with bated breath. Everyone is counting on me. Reveling in the sensation of pressure, I carefully undo the knot, keeping the balloon shut before bringing it to my quarry's mouth. Doing this properly was a delicate balancing act. Too little and it would have no effect. Too much and a harmless prank could veer into dangerous territory. It's now or never. Gauging the rhythm of its inhalations? He's not an it. I wait for the perfect window to release the balloon's opening. The dragon's eyelids twitch in discomfort as its lungs abruptly fill with helium. Fall back! Fall back! Pulling away, I whisper as loud as I dare to Arena. The two of us swiftly withdraw, taking our seats just as Mr. Neural stirs and shakes his head in disorientation. Noticing the room full of diligently waiting students, he opens his mouth to apologize. Oh dear, my apologies for keeping you all waiting. His squeaky voice issues a series of sniggers from the kids with less restraint. Is there something on my face? Faced with this clueless expression, even the students with greater willpower were beginning to waver. What's going on? At the classroom full of children on the verge of cracking, Mr. Norrell could only look on in confusion. Rowena, what did you guys do? Whatever do you mean, father? When did you realize your voice sounds a little bit odd? The students are merely amused by the squeaky persona you suddenly started acting out. The dam finally breaks at Rowena's feign of ignorance. Unable to hold it back anymore, the room floods with bouts of laughter. Huh? Now that you mention it, I've wished to sound unusual high pitch. Who did this? Mr. Norrell's attempts to menace us in this harmless, mousy voice prompts several kids to fall out of their seat. The sight of everyone rolling around on the floor as they held their stomachs was quite the spectacle. Mr. Norrell's eyes sweep over the classroom angrily for a while before eventually coming to a rest on a certain desk. Didn't you bring a balloon in for your birthday, Sissy? Mr. Norrell presses a palm to his face as he pieces together. Sissy? Cecilia? You mischievous little cretins, that's it, outside right now! 10 laps in the schoolyard for all of you! Even the dispensing of our punishment only goads more laughter out of us because of its delivery in a shrill, innocuous voice. When I look over at Rowena's seat, it pleases me to see that she's laughing her heart out alongside the rest of us. Even after carrying out our penance, the only thing anyone had to say about the whole ordeal was worth it. Stoic and detached. That was the kind of air Rowena always seemed to carry about her. It's not stoic, it's stoic. Stoic. I'm glad we were able to close the distance and see her smile wholeheartedly for once. Mission accomplished. After grumpily instructing us through the remainder of afternoon lessons, Mr. Norrell dismisses the class for the day. I apologize if I butcher the names from the last time I played it. With Triss leaving the bulk of his materials at school, we had a considerably lighter load to bear as we forayed into town. I know I said I'd tag along, but I can't really stick around for anything too lengthy. Due to her talent and unique aesthetic, there was a generous demand for Rowena's hand-woven products. Balancing the school and work must have been surely taxing, but you'd never guess it looking at her ditzy smile. That's nice, just tell someone their smile is ditzy. Does that? What kind of person am I? Yep, we're just stopping by the Morella Bakery for a bite. I reassure her as we make a final turn that places us squarely at our destination. Placing my hand on the door, I stop and exchange a glance with Lyrit twins. I wonder if they're thinking the same thing I am. With puckish grins on their faces, they nod back at me. Newfound determination lights inside me as I push open the door to a familiar reception. Welcome to the Morella... You? The docile voice that greets us quickly transforms into squeaks of terror as 3 silhouettes dash forward with impeccable speed. Super spontaneous! Exhales mightily. Tickle attack! With the coordination of a seasoned wolf pack, Triss and I brutally close in on our target's flanks as Kalia circles behind for the takedown. Ah ha ha ha! Tickle tickle! Tickle tickle! Glomp nom. They just like start chewing on her? So stop! Ah ha ha, Louette can't take ah ha ha anymore. After biting into the spoils of our successful hunt to our heart's content, they were biting her. What? How dirty the human mouth is? You break skin, that's an infection for sure. We finally relent to let Alouette catch her breath. Can't believe we were all on the same page. Lyrit twins exchange a painful looking forehead 5 to celebrate our clean kill. Ow, not so hard, dummy! Not everyone is as blockheaded as you are. Triss dances out of the way as Kelly attempts to revenge their collective loss of brain cells with an angry knee. A joint maneuver from 3 directions at once to pin through the target. Ugh, pincer attacks suck. Double envelopment. A classical tactical stratagem topped off with a rear blindside to seal the deal. All executed perfectly with a minimum of communication. Woo! We really were breathing in sync. Yay. Though she doesn't really seem to get why, an enthused question mark Nolita joins in on our cheering. You guys are so scary. After regaining control of her breathing, Alouette finally recovers from her trouncing and manages to get back on her feet. Oh, you really surprised Alouette. Alouette Basia. I'm gonna say it's Basia. Might be Bakia. Basia sounds better though. A young woman with a stilted style of speaking who worked here at the Morella Bakery. Though she was twice my age with change to spare, the impression she gave off could be best likened to a small woodland animal. Why is Alouette so irresistibly huggable? This calls for further investigation. Atapian? In the name of science, I press my cheek up against her and I start nuzzling her. Pachi pachi? I don't know these terms. They're not even really terms of endearment. I don't know what they are. Alouette responds with a similar nonsense noise as she caresses my head with a serene expression. Hey, me too! Pet me too, Pooba! Pooba. I feel like I know that word. The Lyrit twins push and shove as they struggle for the right to be spoiled by Alouette as well. Oh, Alouette only has 2 hands. While Alouette had 2 younger siblings she was used to pampering, 3 at once must have been beyond what she was accustomed to. You look like a sunbathing kitten, Alouette. There are ways of reaching out and connecting with others even for those who are poor at expressing themselves through speech. It was through interacting with Alouette through such a method, touch, that we've come to understand how much of a sweetheart she truly is. So she's not good at talking to people then? Is that what the game's saying? Some of these characters are like a little slow, I guess. They're just not on the same page. Hey, can't you see you're imposing on Alouette? Seemingly interpreting Alouette's monopoly of our noggins as an infringement on her territory, Larona tries peeling us away. Big sis Larona can dole out wicked pats too, but though she does her best to emulate Alouette, it simply is not meant to be. It doesn't feel like bad when you brush my hair, but you suck at giving out head pats, Larona. With a solemn shake of his head, Triss extends a disapproving thumbs down. I don't get it. How hard can it be? Larona, my friend, the art of head pats is a path that can only be pursued when one has cleared their mind and heart. Isn't your anxiety and jealousy bleeding into your movements? Unable to be sated by Larona's ham-fisted malarkey, we abandon her in favor of Alouette's seamless strokes. No, where did I go wrong? When did I stray from the light? It was no exaggeration to say Alouette was a master at this haptic form of communication. The way she gradually adjusted pressure from delicate to firm, migrated at perfect intervals from spot to spot, and mixed it up between her nails, finger pads, and palm was simply superb. But even more important than her peerless form and technique was the calming aura and pure intent her movements projected. Whenever she touches you, it feels like your heart connects with hers for the briefest of moments. Nolita too. Alouette will pat Nolita too. Noticing Nolita standing out by herself, Alouette tries reaching out to her. Nolita's like, no? Please no? However, Nolita doesn't budge an inch. Without a word, she stares on silently at Alouette's stretched arm. Unsure how to interpret Nolita's response, Alouette tiptoes into range and bashfully runs her fingertips against Nolita's snow-white tresses. She's gonna start screaming bloody murder. Meet you. Nolita has such soft, poofy hair. Bleh, that's no good, Nolita. You can't get head pats unless you make gibberish sounds too. Yeah? Wow, you sound like a constipated cat. You have to put your heart into it, Nolita. However, Nolita steps back from Alouette in a show of unmistakable rejection. Eh? She's grab and run. Though she seems confused and distressed, Alouette's attention is quickly diverted by the needy Lyrit twins. What's the matter, Nolita? Sidling up to her, I whispered to her in a hushed voice. Alouette smells. Is that what it is? I'm pretty sure she knows how to bathe on her own, unlike a certain someone at first. My banter doesn't seem to lighten the mood, though. She smells like mist. It's different, but also the same. Huh? Is that so? I don't know what you mean by that, but she's a good-hearted person, always has a smile on her face. smiling all the time? It's the same. The same as never smiling. But Ade's right. Alouette's not fake. Fake. What meaning did that word hold to Nolita? Regardless, it didn't seem like she disliked or distrusted Alouette. I'm not sure I get it then. But Nolita merely shakes her head. I don't know. There are many questions I want to ask, but I decided to stop pressing Nolita for now. Sorry, we're not trying to force you to do anything you're uncomfortable with. I'll make it up to you later with those special Ade brand behind the ear rubs you like, okay? A non-committal noise. Meanwhile, judging by their salivating maws, it seemed the Lirette twins' mind had already moved on to something else. The smell's got me hankering to sink my teeth into something already. You're like a teething puppy, Kalia. The aroma of baked sweets was certainly enticing enough to justify the obscene growls coming from Tristan's stomach. Though judging by his dreamy expression, he had already skipped ahead of us and ascended to confectionery heaven. Looks like my valuable taste testers are finally here! With a thunderous entrance, the person we've been waiting for emerges from deeper within the building. The owner and principal baker of this establishment, Mr. Morella. He was a heartily built man whose laughter made buildings tremble in their foundation. It was something of a routine for us to test samples whenever he came up with a new recipe, hence why we were here today. Been tinkering with the nitty-gritties of this batch for a while now. Come, you'll be the first to try it out. The big man smiles jovially as he brings out a tray of cake and begins portioning it out with a knife, staying comically small in his massive paws. These sentences, they're awkwardly built. That and my brain it can't keep up with my eyes. And my mouth. While free treats wasn't anything to sneeze at, the most rewarding part for me was how Mr. Morella used our feedback to push the limits of his work. It's fun being part of the process of iteration and refinement behind creating a new dish. Strawberry and lychee cake is the name of the game this time around. Chris, you dirty rat, don't go nibbling the corners off my piece while handing it to me. Callie berates Triss noisily as she smears crumbs all over her nose and cheeks. He's like, oh well. But Triss just shrugs haughtily in response, as if only rightfully taxing someone for his services. Nobody asked for your help in the first place. Oof. With a ferocious lunge, Kelly knees her supposed benefactor in the gut, causing him to spew his mouthful all over Larona's nearby figure. Oh, why me again? They're, like, brutal to one another. Seriously. It's all over Larona. Look what you did, dimwit. There are better ways to tell you, girl, you like them, Triss. Mr. Morella guffaws at the lively scene as Alouette and I help pick pieces out of cake of Larona's hair for remorsefully kowtowing Tristan. Collateral damage, that's what my Sachi Rin would have called it if she were here. Sachi Rin was Mr. Morella's cutesy way of referring to his wife, which never ceases to amuse me considering how powerful and influential she is. A UL refugee well-versed in technology, Sachi Morella was one of the principal forces behind the development of Socotrine's economic sector throughout this golden age and reconstruction. Our union with Mr. Morella had been a celebrated moment in history, marking the first time a native Socotrine and UL refugee were joined in matrimony. I haven't seen Sachi around lately. I hope Papa's not foisting too much of his responsibilities onto her. All I see of Sachi Rin nowadays is her sulky face when she comes here for a tea break to kvetch about work. Bitch about work? I'll have to scold Papa for her when I get the chance. I'm sure she'd appreciate it. Show a day? Aid? I don't know why I said a day. For Socotrine custom, Xiao was a polite term used in conjunction with a shortened form of the name to address children. Though it's considered endearing, family members and friends rarely use it since it's somewhat formal. Seems like we have quite a bit left over. I've decided. Larona, take the rest home and make sure those little uns snarf it down something good. Eh? Are you sure I can really take all this? They don't get to eat sweets too often, do they? It's a cardinal sin for kids not to have any sweets. Damn right it is. Giving Larona no leeway to decline, Mr. Morella packages up the remaining cake and thrusts it into her hands. You're always looking after those orphans as if they're young children. It's like you're their mom. Mommy Lerona! No, no, it's nothing like that. If anything, I'm more like their fussy big sister. Make sure they eat up and get nice and plump. Oh my god, so we can eat them next. Thank you, Mr. Morella. Well, I guess a bite or two on my way back won't hurt anyone. Nom nom. Oh, there's 2 bites. I'm struck by an ominous premonition as Lerona idly chips away at the cake entrusted to her. Optimistic estimates project only a handful of crumbs surviving the journey home, perhaps a dab of frosting if we're feeling generous. So what's the verdict of this trial, children? Mr. Morella's eyes glitter in anticipation at what we had to say. Having carefully considered the dessert for a while now, I opened my mouth to give my evaluation. Contrasting the floral, honeyed flavor of lychee with the tartness of strawberries is a pretty neat idea. I'm not so sure about the execution though. The consistency of the cake is sort of heavy. I don't think that's the direction you want to take with this type of dish though. Instead of a pound cake like crumb, I think a looser and fluffier texture will help showcase the lychee's strengths better. I'm really fond of how you use the strawberries though. They're like little acerbic checkpoints that reset your taste buds to keep the sweet parts fresh and free from staleness. Overall, I'd say it's tasty and has lots of potential. Ze ist gut. It's sweet. Mr. Morella nods in deep thought at the comprehensive input we provide him. Who knows, if pushed to the limit, perhaps this one could even become a regular selection at the bakery. Oh, a regular selection at the bakery? To hear such words of praise from Show-a-day? Said a day again. In his excitement, Mr. Morella slams his hands down the nearest counter with such force resulting in any earthquake causes their feet to leave the ground. Jesus Christ, I'm surprised he didn't break shit. As always, your feedback helps immensely. You can do it, yeah. Quickly bringing down the ceiling as he skips away, Mr. Morella returns to the kitchen with renewed zeal. It's a nice feeling, helping someone pursue their passion. Ade's so smart. She always knows what to say at times like these. Ade knows. So many big words. Oh, you have no idea, Alouette. You have no freaking idea the words I've been put through. So far. That's because she inhales books like some sort of brain slug. What cheek? That reminds me. Pretending to have business elsewhere, I slip behind Kelly and jump her. Ooh? Haven't fulfilled my daily quota for brains yet. Yeah, don't gnaw on my head like that. Stop! Ah, that feels weird. Not wanting to be left out, Trish joins in and begins grinding his teeth against her scalp in a bout of brain sucking of his own. God, they're eating me! Please stop. Whatever you're doing, it's sending shivers down my spine. Trying to eat people is bad, Ade. Triss. Anyways, we should be going now. It'd probably be best to wrap things up now for Lerona's sake. We'll resume our inquiry into your huggability at a later date, Alouette. Quibi. Dappa-doo. Alouette gives us some final parting screeches before returning to man the counter. See you, Alouette. Play with us again sometime. I'll return the tableware next time I drop by. Have a nice day, Alouette. Bye-bye. Waving goodbye to her, we depart from the Morella Bakery. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and if you enjoyed it, leave a like and hit the sub for more walkthroughs, playthroughs, and let's plays on the gaming experience.